What's going on, internet? So today I am about 9.5 years into being a full-time artist. So I want to do this video over the time lapse of a recent piece that I finished up. So I'm going in a whole new direction in terms of just painting, getting back to oil paints and painting something totally different than what I'm used to. But back to the main issue of the video, and that's basically things I've learned over the 9.5 years of being a full-time artist. So I'm going to give you 3 tips and we'll get started now. So one of the first things that I learned when being a full-time artist is that relationships are super important, and basically it is what I eat off of, is how I get opportunities. It's basically how I live, and a lot of times you don't realize how much other people factor into the opportunities that you get, regardless of what you think you're sort of getting into in terms of, being accepted based off of your skill set. A lot of times it is basically friends of friends or people that know you that are able to get you on a short list or able to vouch for you on a committee or see your application and put you on top, or they give your name to someone. I recently just gave someone else's name when they called me up about an artist they needed in a whole nother state, Texas. So I mentioned one of my artist friends, and that's how he's getting an opportunity. So a lot of times it's not what you know or who you know, it's who knows you. And so sometimes you have to say that again and again because you don't realize how much other people play a part in your artistic career, because you can be an amazing artist, but if you're horrible to work with, it's going to be very difficult for you to get past a lot of other people that we consider quote unquote gatekeepers. And there's so many gates out there that you have to sort of get through. It's kind of like you can't burn these bridges, because the people that you see on the way up are the same people you're going to see on the way down. So you have to treat people with respect, and you have to really work on that relationship building skill when you're trying to get ahead and get into those galleries or residency opportunities, or to get into a group show. A lot of times the group shows that I'm in are because I know someone that knows the owner of the gallery or the owner or the curator or whatever. So that's a lot of, the behind the scenes when it comes to how does an artist get a lot of these opportunities. It's basically, like I said, all about relationships. The number 2 piece of advice is don't be boring. That is one of the key things about sort of just standing out as an artist, being unique as an artist, getting the attention as an artist, because if you have your relationships, really it's just all about your work. And in today's world, I know there's a ton of artists that are out there that you can see every part of the world and what they're doing, but that's the job of an artist, is to create the work that's different than everyone else, that stands out, that sort of talks about things that are unique and has a unique perspective. You just don't want to be boring as an artist, because you can go to a museum and see a lot of the artwork in there and why it's timeless, and you want to sort of feed off of that energy. How can you be timeless? How can you approach a material or a process or visuals or a story or a topic in a way that hasn't been approached before? Because if I go to a movie and I've seen the same plot, I know it from the beginning, I'm going to walk out because I'm going to go to sleep because I've seen it before. So you have to sort of have that same mentality when it comes to the work that you do. You don't want to be boring, because when you're boring, you lose people's attention, and then your art is just basically window dressing, it's decoration. So you want to make sure that you're not boring, that you sort of approach things in a different way. And that's all about bringing your own identity and perspective and background into the work that you're doing. And the third thing that I learned over the course of 9.5 years of being a full-time artist, and I didn't really understand this until now, is that space matters. So when we start out, a lot of times we're in the basement, we're doing work in our kitchen. It's a small space, so you're limited on the ideas that you can do. You're limited on the equipment that you can do, sometimes the materials that you can actually use in your practice. So as I started getting a bigger and bigger and bigger studio spaces to create the work, I started to get access to equipment and materials that I wasn't able to use before. So like big CNC machines or 3D printers and laser cutters, and being able to use a ton of oils in my work, I was able to basically expand the type of work that I was doing because I was able to expand the type of materials I was using in my studio practice. And that really helps out when it comes to, like I said, being unique and not boring. So you're able to expand outside of just the regular tools and materials that you can buy at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or your local paint store, Dick Blick's, whatever. Basically now you're able to expand outside of just the normal materials, and then you're able to basically be unique as you want to be. So in the end, size does make a big difference when it comes to evolving as an artist. So hopefully these 3 tips can help you guide your future decision making. And like I said, those relationships matter, so go out there and make those relationships, build your network. Size matters. Go out there and get a bigger studio space so that you can have access to everything that you want to create the work that is not boring. So hopefully these tips help you out, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.